Also, hello guys, good to see you back. Once again, I'm back with a new tutorial related advanced JavaScript. And in this tutorial, we are going to learn spread operator. In our previous tutorials, we learned about rest operator. This topic is pretty similar with rest operator. In this example, we learn how we can send string value. With that, also we can set numeric value and perform calculation. In rest operator, here we pass multiple numeric value. Rest operator basically convert this value into an array. Now, this situation is different. Now, we do not pass the numeric value as an argument. We store it into an array. And now I decide I want to pass this array as an argument, not the numbers. Something like that. First, I want to pass the string value, then I want to pass the array. But if I send this numeric value as an array, then in our case, this args not going to perform the calculation. Because rest operator always expect we are going to pass multiple arguments. But here we pass an array. And it's a single argument. It's a variable. But it stores array value. Now our args going to assume that all the value as a single value. To resolve this problem, JavaScript introduced spread operator. Now how it's work? So whenever we call the function and pass array value as an argument, we need to use $sign before the array name. In our case, ... array. Basically, this spread operator going to spread this array. And then it pass all the value as an argument. Then our rest operator handle all the arguments and convert it into an array again. So this is the basic usage of spread operator. Basically, it spread the array and convert the array value in a multiple arguments. Just one thing you need to remember. Whenever we call a function and pass an array value, and before the array value, if we use $sign, we call it spread operator. Spread operator only used when we call the function, and rest operator only used when we create the function. So this is the basic difference between rest operator and spread operator. And there are a lot of usage of spread operator. We are going to learn it in practical session. So without wasting your time, let's start the practical. So as you can see, side by side I open my Visual Studio Code editor and my browser using live server extension, and I open my previous HTML document. So in our previous tutorial, we learned rest operator. As you can see, whenever we call the function, here we need to pass multiple numeric arguments to calculate the sum value. And now I decide I want to store the numeric value in an array. For that, here I want to create a variable, let, and our variable name is number, num, equal to, inside the square braces, I'm going to pass the values. So I'm going to cut the value and I'm going to paste it here. Now number variable become an array. Now I decide I want to send this array as an argument. So I'm going to type the variable name, num, and I'm going to save this file. After save this file, as you can see in my browser, it's not working. It print the exact array as a string. It do not perform any calculation. Now I'm going to use spread operator to spread the value and send as an argument. For that, as I told you, we need to use before the variable name. If I save this file, this time you can see the total of advanced mean is 90 from MIT. Now it's worked perfectly. So this is one of the best usage of spread operator. Let me show you another example with console. For that, I'm going to comment out all of this line. Also, I'm going to remove this one. Now, I want to print this array in my console. So I want to type console.log inside the round braces. Our variable name is num. And semicolon to end this line. After save this file, as you can see in my console, it is an array. And it has total 3 lanes. It means total 3 values, 20, 30 and 40. But if I use spread operator and then save this file, now you can see it is not an array anymore. These are all different values. But if I use square braces outside the variable and then save this file again, now you can see again it become an array. Let me show you another example. Now, this is number 1. num1 variable is an array. Then I'm going to duplicate this line, and this is number 2. And number 2 assign with number 1 variable, num1. If I print num2 in my console and then save this file, as you can see, it's an array. Basically, I clone number 1 and store it number 2 variable. And now I want to add another value in our array 1, means number 1. So I'm going to type num1 dot push function. Push, inside the round braces, I'm going to pass 50. And semicolon to end this line. After save this file, as you can see in our console, it add 50 in our num2 variable, because num2 variable is clone of num1 array. And now in number 2, I'm going to spread the array values. So here I'm going to use 3 dot. Also, I'm going to move it in a square braces. And I'm going to save this file. This time you can see it do not push 50 at num2 variable. After using spread operator, first time it make a copy, but it's not clone the num1 variable. That's why this time 50 is not pushed in this array 1. Also, using spread operator, we can concat arrays. Let me show you the example. So first I'm going to remove this line, and I'm going to make it number 2, another array, which is going to store 50, 60, and 70, and 80. So this is going to store total 4 value, and this is going to store total 3 value. And now I'm going to create another variable, let, and our variable name is num3. Num3 equal to, inside the square braces, here I'm going to use spread operator. I want to concatenate both the arrays using spread operator. So I'm going to type dot 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 num1, comma, I want to concatenate with num2, so I'm going to type dot 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 num2, and semicolon to end this line. If I print num3 in our console and then set this file, as you can see in my console, it successfully concatenate our array. Here we don't need to use concatenate function to concatenate both the array. We can concatenate using spread operator. Not only that, if you want to add more value in this array, yes you can. Just, you need to use comma, and before the comma, you need to pass the value. I want to start this array 100 and end this array with a string. So inside the double quotes, here I'm to pass add 1. And I'm going to save this file. After save this file, you can see the result. So this is how we can use spread operator for concatenation array. Not only that, spread operator also work with objects. Let me show you. So I'm going to comment out all of this. And here I'm going to create an object. Our first object name is var obj, obj1. obj1 equal to, inside the curly braces, here we need to use key value pair. Our key is name. Name colon add one means. Add one means. Then I'm going to create our second object. So I'm going to duplicate this object, and our second object name is obj2. And here I'm going to use another key, which is age. Age 23. And semicolon to end this line. And I'm going to save this file. And now I'm going to merge these two objects using spread operator. So I'm going to create another variable, var obj3. obj3 equal to, inside the curly braces, and here I'm going to use spread operator to merge obj1, comma, and I want to concatenate with obj2. So again I'm going to use spread operator obj2. And semicolon to end this line. Now, if I print obj3 in my console, let me show you, and then save this file, as you can see in my console, now these two objects create one single object. And in our object 3, we have property and value. So this is how we can use spread operator. I hope now it's clear for you what is the usage of spread operator. So thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for the next tutorial.